For so long, women, you have been told that in order for you to win in life, you need to be tough, you need to strive harder, you need to be harsh, you need to be manipulative, you need to be masculine, you need to be louder, you need to hustle more. And for so long you have shifted yourself away from your feminine energy. But what if I tell you today that the women that are actually winning right now are the ones who are soft, the ones who radiate peace, the ones who are calm, the ones who are living in their God-given femininity? Yes. Hi guys, you're welcome again to my YouTube channel, and this is the channel where I teach you how you can be able to work in your prophetic divine alignment in your business, how you can be able to magnetize wealth, and how you can be able to live a life that is fulfilling, that is blessed as a woman. Let's get right into the chase. Now, what if I tell you that your feminine energy is your most powerful business strategy and your most powerful secret to getting the life of your dreams? The truth is that for me, I had more of men mentor me, especially when I was starting my business. So I actually had more of men guiding me through in terms of my business. It was really easy to fall into the masculine trap, that thing that makes you feel like you have to do 99 things. And while I was successful at it, I hated what I built. I hated the fact that I always had to be in performance mode rather than being in my softness, right? And so for so long I was resenting my business. I didn't like what I was doing, and you cannot be able to be fulfilled in what you're doing if your heart is resenting it. Let's start by, what does a feminine woman all about? What is she all about? A lot of people feel like when we talk about the woman being feminine, oh, she's so soft, she can be taken advantage of, or she's a lazy woman. Yes, many people always feel like feminine woman or a woman who is in a feminine energy is someone who is lazy, and that's completely wrong. A feminine woman and a woman who is in a feminine power is someone who is magnetic. When you talk about feminine energy, it's not a weak energy, it's an energy that magnetizes instead of chasing. And so rather than chasing, what feminine energy does, it creates the environment that draws people in. You are not lazy for being a feminine woman, rather you are even more hardworking than the rest. That's the truth. Anyone that tells you that feminine energy is about being lazy, that is completely wrong, and that's completely false, because feminine energy is about nurturing, it's about inviting, it's a receptive energy. It's not that you're going to be lazy, you're not that you're going to be weak, it's not that you're going to let people ride over you or take advantage of you because you're soft. No. What are the 3 principles of feminine business success and feminine success in life? Of them all together. Now, the first principle of the feminine business success is receptivity over force. Now, when it comes to the masculine business energy, right? Masculine energy is always on the offensive. It's chasing, it's trying to get something, it pursues, it hunts, right? You talk about men love to hunt, they love challenges. But as a woman, feminine energy, receptive, you are receptive, you accept, you are receiving. Most times, one of the challenges I have whenever I meet my clients, one of the challenges I see they have, is that they find it very difficult to receive. And I had this issue as well too, whereby you see yourself as less than who you are, especially when I deal with women that have gone through a lot, and so you find it very difficult to receive. You feel like you need to earn it before you can be able to receive. And I work with ladies, when I tell them charge premium prices for what you have to offer, they feel like, no, I don't deserve it. They don't come out to say they don't deserve it, but somewhere deep down inside their heart, they something tells them that they don't deserve it, so they have to chase. And like I said, when you're going against your God-given nature, it's going to fight it. You're not going to get what you want, and that's why I look as if you're trying really hard. You are designed to receive. You are designed to receive. This, in terms of your business, this can mean you creating an environment where clients come to you, where you attract clients to you. For so long in business, I was always chasing clients. I would always send out. I know so many ladies might be against this. They say, oh, you have to go out and look for your customers are not going to come and look for you. I understand that part, but what about the part of you building something that they can't afford to ignore? If I'm working through the mall and I see something that catches my attention, I'm going to work into that place. That's who you are as a woman. So I had this client of mine who actually came to me inside of my mentorship program, and she was doing sales calls, exhausting herself over 15 hours a day. She tried to do everything. She even tried to hire somebody, hire an appointment setter. Am I saying all of those things are bad? No, they are awesome business strategies. But when she came to me and she was complaining bitterly about what wasn't working in her business, it didn't take me up to 5 seconds to know the reason why she was drained and exhausted was because she was operating from her masculine energy, where she was operating from the masculine energy, that type that forces, that chases, trying, and she was selling a $500 product. Imagine being on countless number of sales calls, free discovery calls to sell a $500 product. And of course, when people can be able to perceive that you are chasing and you are at their mercy. I used to be that person as well too. When people can perceive it, they will feel like even if they buy from you, they are doing you a favor instead of the other way around. And you don't want that in your business or life. You don't want anyone to feel like they are doing you a favor by being in your life. That's what happens when you chase. That's what happens when you run around, when you pursue. When we work together, we completely dismantled all of those toxic strategies, because that's one thing I do. I take you completely, if you're in my world, completely out of that hustle zone. We have been trained to think that when we are resting, that means we are losing out. And I used to be that person. I can understand it completely. We turned it around to a receptive approach. I told her, you don't chase. You create a garden and let people find you. As a woman, while you are, one of the ways you are receptive is that you position yourself. That is how you do it. That's how it works. You're not saying you are lazy and you cross your leg and you wait for customers to come to you. No. But you position yourself and let people see what you have to offer. That's what it is. So we changed the strategy, and so she started creating things in her business, eliminated the sales calls aspect. I'm not saying sales calls are bad, but she completely eliminated that aspect from her business, created workshop, created connection calls rather than sales calls. And what happened was she completely cut down. And I told her, choose one day of the week where you rest. You're not going to work. People are designed, yes, you always want to be on the move. And I said, you don't do anything, you just rest and you receive. And that completely changed everything for her. She went from struggling, jumping on sales calls, to having people message her. And without even sales calls, they were buying what she had to offer. That's the power when you are receptive as a woman. Now the next principle of feminine success, on how you can use your feminine energy to attract success in your business and in your life in general, is trusting your intuition over rigid strategy. Now we have been taught, follow this formula, follow this framework, 3 steps to 9 steps to this is how it's done. This is how I made $10,000. That's how you can be able to make your $10,000. This is how I made $1 million. That's how you can be able to make $1 million. Am I saying all of that is bad? No. Templates, scripts. Am I saying all of that is bad? No. But there is something powerful about you as a woman. There's something you have. That little, will I say, gut feeling, when you feel that something is off. That thing, it's a little whisper God gave to you. And this is something that usually causes issues in relationship a lot, because the man is usually designed to see things logically. Many times, tell me my ladies, are there not times in your relationships whereby you know something was wrong, right? And you felt it inside of you. Even though your logical mind could not comprehend it, your mind was trying to catch up with it, but something inside you told you something was wrong. And at the end of the day, it turned out to be true. Has it ever happened to you before? Yes. That's your intuition that is actually speaking. That is a little whisper that God gave to you to be able to perceive things. And that is another way you can be able to become highly successful in your business and in your life in general, because God has given you the power of intuition to know things even before they happen. The power to know something, that little whisper from the Spirit of God telling you something is off. When it comes to business, there are times when, am I saying it's bad to follow experts? No. I usually give my mentees, if they need a template, but there's something I discovered when I was doing business. At the time when I was having my digital marketing business, online business, I discovered something, that there are times when I would say, you know what, follow my formula. I discovered that what works for A doesn't work for B. Those I was mentoring at the time before God told me to switch. What works for A doesn't work for B. What works for B doesn't work for C. They were all different things work for different people. Sometimes when you have somebody telling you this is exactly how I made it and you follow it, what if that is not what God has designed for you? What if God has a different plan for you? There are many times when it comes to business and life, you have to understand that as a woman, while you are following the formulas and the frameworks and then this is how it's done and the script and the template, do not ignore your intuition. That alone can literally be the gap between you and your next 7 figures. I know what I'm saying here. I train you on how to be a woman that leads. That's one thing I train in my mentorship. How to be a woman that actually leads her business, not someone who follows without direction. Yes, a mentor is great, a coach is great, those frameworks are great, but you have to understand that your path is different. I had this client at some point, right? And she wanted to go for a particular training and certification. Now, am I saying trainings and certifications are bad? Absolutely not. I usually recommend it all the time. And so she was inside of my mentorship, my premium mentorship, and it was a VIP day actually. And then she came to me and then she said to me that she wanted to upgrade to do that. And one of the ways I tell my women in my world is, I say to you, why do you want to do this? And that's the advantage of having somebody who is not just a business mentor or a business coach who just tells you surface level strategies and tactics, but who tells you things by the Spirit of God. And so I asked her why, and she said, well, because people are doing it, everyone is doing it, and she feels like that is the next step, and probably that's what is stopping her from getting there. Instantly I knew, and I said, fine, it's okay. Certifications, qualifications, training, I always recommend it all the time, but more importantly, I recommend you following your intuition. And I asked her, but do you feel something is off somewhere? And she opened up to me and she said yes. She feeling that there's another direction that God is telling her to go through, but everyone is doing this and everyone is becoming successful, so she feels that is what is going to make her become successful. Blam blam, red flag there. That was exactly how I knew that she is completely out of it. This is not the plan of God. You are completely ignoring your intuition. I told her take some time out. That's the thing about when you work inside of I don't just push it to you and say do this fast. We take time because you're building a legacy wealth, right? We're building something in you that doesn't just comes and fades but actually lasts. And she came to me, she was into the real estate space, awesome lady, and then she came and said, you know what, I don't think God wants me to do this. I think this is the path that my heart is telling me to go through. And I said to her, let's do it. Let's work at that path. Guess what she made in a week once she launched, I don't think her colleague or her counterpart can make that in 1 year combined. Yes, that's the power of following your intuition. I didn't say emotions, I said your intuition, and you know what I'm talking about. How long have you been ignoring your intuition by following what everyone else is doing? Now the third principle of your feminine business success is what I call cyclical rhythms over linear pushing. In the traditional business world, this is the way it works. There's always constant production, constant hustling. What's the next thing to do? Constant growth. So there's always this linear growth on the next thing that you have to do, and constantly knowing the next project. And am I saying all of that is bad? No. But that's not how nature works, and that's not how your body is designed to work as a woman. A very good example of this is how our body functions. We women, we are designed to function in seasons and circle. Take for example your menstrual cycle, right? There's a time of the month when you are so lovey-govey, you want your husband or your partner to touch you, and there's a time of the month where you're irritated. Everything annoys you, you are moody and all of that. There's a time of the month when you're just happy. You feel you're glowing again, you feel beautiful. The way it is, your circle as a woman, that is exactly how it is in the business world and your your life in general. We are designed to honor seasons and cycles. So your business is in natural rhythms. So there are seasons of rest, there are seasons of productivity, there are seasons of creation when you're creating, there are seasons of harvest, there are seasons of where you are planting and you are working really hard. That's the way God designed you as a woman to function. And the moment you try to be everything at the same time, every season you are creating, you're working. That's why most times when women come into my world, either we are doing a VIP day or whatever it is we're doing, I always say, there are times I will say to you, your business strategy, I know it might sound crazy, but it works like magic, is rest. And I say, what? I came to you to tell me you have to do you, and I will say to you, I've been doing all of those things. I remember there was a lady, I said to her, you've been doing all of those things, where has it gotten you? You've got doing all the ads, doing everything. Where has it? I said, stop what you're doing and rest. And because of the way the traditional business world is designed to function, and say you have to be working. If you're not working, then you're going to miss out. Your body would naturally want to fight it. When she just one day of rest, I told her, take out one day. Don't do anything business. Don't do anything. Don't think about anything family. Just take out one day, travel, go on a vacation. She ended up spending like 3 days. I said, go on a vacation and just receive. That day that she went on a vacation, that day, what she has been chasing for years came to her. That's the power when you honor seasons and cycles. It's also happened in creation story, right? God wasn't creating every day. There was a time when he was creating. There was a time he rested. In your business, you have to understand. It happens even when it comes to my magnetic shift sessions, right? Where I work with women to activate their premium wealth, attract premium clients. I don't do it every day. There are days when I say to myself, no work. We're not working today. And it doesn't mean you're lazy, because you are designed as a woman to function from overflow. When you are stressed out, you are not going to be your best. You get what I'm saying? Have you noticed most times I have had friends that say to me, when a woman is happy in a relationship, what happens to her? She begins to glow, right? When she's not happy in a relationship, what happens to her? She looks like an old woman. That's because as a woman, you are designed to function in seasons and cycles. There is a season in your business where you have to be creating, where you have to be planting. There's a season in your business where you have to be harvesting. There's a season in your business where you have to rest. It sounds counterproductive, but that is one of the greatest productivity hack you are going to hear today. There's a season in your business where you have to just sit back, rest, and just relax and receive. Whether the next phase of your business, the next inspiration, the next thing to do. But if you're always on the hamster wheel, always working, that yields nothing. Now you have been taught about the principles of the feminine business success and feminine success in your life and career and everything else. Now, how can you begin to activate it so that you can see tangible results? So I'm going to share that with you. There are 3 ways we're going to go into. The first is you need to let go of the hustle mentality. This is the first thing I teach you, even inside of my magnetic session. I take you out of that mentality that I have to hustle. Hustle for what? You have to let go of that hustle mentality and that belief that if I don't grind, if I don't chase, push, you have to let go of that. The second thing is that you have to reconnect back with your intuition. So many women have been ignoring their intuition. How many times have you ignored your intuition, and at the end of the day, when it happens, you start saying, something told me, I knew something was wrong? How many times have you stayed in that toxic relationship, and at the end of the day, when it begins to manifest, you knew when you saw the red flag, but you ignored your intuition? Go back, ask God before you jump into any business decision. Ask God for direction, ask God for guidance, ask God, is this what you have for me? And finally, I said, practice receiving. Yes, like I said earlier, most of my clients, I usually say to them, take out one day, have a day. If you're so busy, at least make it once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. Just a day. Don't do anything that day. It could be the weekend. Just take out time and receive. That's not the time to hustle. That's not the time to begin to grind. That's the time for you to relax yourself and just take out time and receive. Because as women, we are designed to function from overflow. When you're overworked, everything begins to get affected. Your family, your health, and even your business. Take out time and just receive. It could be a new client, it could be an unexpected favor, it could be just gratitude, right? You're just grateful for where you are and where God has brought you to. So this is just time where you receive with grace and gratitude. You will reflect on things. When you are in that peaceful atmosphere, everything else begins to flow. This is exactly where women begin to flourish. Most of my clients, most times, especially for the premium one, the ones that come for my premium VIP day, one of the things we do is like a retreat, right? In fact, before we go into business strategy is the last thing we do. Business strategy is the last thing we do. I take them through that process of receiving and just keeping calm. Usually, that's when you see women crying. That's when you see them pouring out their heart. That's when you see them, that woman, that girl that has been locked up on the inside begins to pour out her mind. And at the end of the day, instantly, it's not magic. It's just because of that is exactly how God has created it. As that thing is going on, don't be at that point. What happens is that everything they've always chased for years start coming to them. It could be the relationship, it could be their family, it could be business, especially. Sometimes I've had ladies where they were chasing the business contract, and instantly inside of that experience, that contract comes. It's not that it's some magical powers. It's because when you are functioning fully as the woman God has designed you to be, everything else begins to come, begins to flow. Take out time, have a day, and call it my receiving day. That's the day you just relax and receive. Even if it's just half a day, even if it's for 1 hour, block out the noise. Everything else is trying to drag your attention. Block out the noise and just settle down and just receive. That's the power of your feminine energy. And to stop that striving, to step into that place where you naturally attract wealth, premium presence, where you begin to glow, where your success doesn't come at the expense of your family or your health or your peace of mind or even your happiness, where you attract wealth, opportunities, alignment effortlessly, and you are glowing as you're doing. I want to invite you over to the Distant Woman Mentorship. Basically, this is where I work with you one-on-one. And we take out whatever it is. Like I said, I take you out completely from the hustle culture, and we come into that design, the wealth God has for you. Also, you can also book the magnetic shift session. That one is just a one-on-one session where one session basically what I work with you, and the testimonials have been really amazing. Just one session can completely transform your life. We fix the root cause of what is stopping you. Charlize, most of the women that come into my world, they've done all the strategies, they've gotten all the online courses, they've hired the business coaches, and yet nothing is working. That means there's something else that is blocking your overflow. I hope you guys found this video really helpful. I hope you guys, I want you to let me know in the comment section, where do you think you are not operating fully in your feminine power? Where do you think you're actually forcing things and you feel you are misaligned in terms of your feminine energy? Let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video.